Good morning to all the listeners on the various platforms, radio, internet, various streams. Welcome to another episode of Voices. It's Monday, the 22nd of February 2021, and it's a big day in the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis. We talk about why and the ways of. I'd like to bring in my co-host at the moment, and just to say good morning and stuff like that. And then after that, we're going to take a word from our very kind sponsors, without whom this program will not be possible. Then we come back and we get into the meat of things. We have lots of juicy stuff to discuss today. So, my co-host.
Good morning, listeners. My name is Margret Stevens. And if you're wanting to contact us during the course of the morning, the numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. And for those of you in the US, 7182-656984 or 508-921-4619. And for those of you in the UK, 0333 04 40065.
And with that introduction, you know it's going to be a wonderful morning. The engineer is like all teeth from ear to ear. But as I say, we're going to break for a commercial break at the top of the program, and then we'll be right back with you.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drug Store's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Store's curbside pickup service.
When the star them there, we a top man, we take charge. Have no drink and we a shell down bars. Blast like a star with some a gal a bar. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We a hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man then. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Once again, good morning to many listeners and viewers. You're locked on to WINN FM 98.9. It's another episode of Voices. Host Socrates, myself. That's what they call me, right, sometimes?
Yes.
And the lovely, lovely Margret Stevens. Is there anyone you want to say good morning to?
Me? No, not right now.
Not right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, I want to start by saying a very special morning to our various teams, Governor General, Sir Tapley Stevens. Seaton. You have a most wonderful day. Yeah. I was thinking about Margret Stevens. That's what happened. So it's her, Tapley Seaton, wishing you the most wonderful day. And, of course, the staff of the GH. Jennifer?
Yes, the staff of GH.
Oh, Jennifer also was saying GH, government quarters.
Sorry,
okay.
I intervened.
Well, no. You say good morning to the staff at Jennifer because you're in the medical. So go right ahead. You do that.
I did.
I thought you were correcting me. I thought you were correcting me.
Go ahead. It's okay.
What about your friend in Nevis?
Ella.
Ella.
Yes.
She's listening.
My beautiful sister.
And she admonished me on, it was Friday, I think I was at Valley Mat, and she says, oh, you are the person. I guess she recognized my voice. And yes, she said, the synergy between you and Margaret is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And tell her I say hi, but here's a topic for you, which we'll touch in a while.
Okay.
But the last time we were here, we were discussing the vaccine. And the topic of the day was
to
take
it or not take it.
not to take. And today we're here to speak about the announcement by the PM in Parliament on Thursday that the vaccine is indeed available. And from the Minister of Health, she declared that as of 1 p.m. today, at the Newtown Community Center, there'll be an actual rolling out.
For the health center.
Health center.
Health center.
That is why they to correct me.
Yes.
And is it the same?
Well, it's health center. The community center is next door.
Okay. All right. And there will be parliamentarians. They'll be inoculated and all that. So that I think it's going to be a hot topic because it's a very, very, very monumental, important day in the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis. We're looking about just about a year ago. Mm-hmm. We were impacted, like most of the globe, with COVID-19, how it has devastated our economy, the various sectors that were dependent on tourism, our main, the number one foreign earner. Also various sectors of the society. And now, having gone through roughly a year of all the sacrifices, the quarantines, the shopping lines, etc., there is a light at the end of the proverbial tunnel in terms of the availability of the vaccination, which is supposed to be steering the way forward and with a certain time frame getting us back to even keel, to a situation where we can say, okay, we would have passed the worst and we can now begin to addressing the opening of our economy, reopening of our economy, et cetera, et cetera. And we were saying 2 weeks ago, to take or not to take.
Yes. Yes.
And so we're looking at those folks who will be on the front line. We'll be here at 1 o'clock today when they would have begun the rollout.
Yes.
So we won't be there in person, but I think there'll be some live broadcasting of it. We'd like to see how that is done and speak to the various demographics as will be considered priorities. What are your thoughts on that?
The thing that struck me the most was that people over 80 having to get medical assessment before they qualify for it, which is so different to what's happening in the UK because they've rolled it out in all of the nursing homes and elderly care facilities where the population tends to be 80 and up.
That was supposed to be the most vulnerable demographic, the elders, etc., etc. I'm almost there, so I have to be. Yeah, but the fact is, do we know if there were any undertaking prior to them giving them, when say undertaking, like we now told that you would have to have authorization from your medical practitioner, your doctor, whether you can take it or not, or should take it or not. And who knows that if in the UK there was that consideration given prior to making that announcement?
I don't know. I mean, I have got friends that are working with GPs giving out the vaccination. And as far as I know, once you're over a certain age, you just make an appointment and attend your GP. We
saw folks in the 90s rolling up the sleeves and boasting and being happy about it, etc. And that was very inspiring. And there was a thought, though, a school of thought that says, okay, they're targeting this particular demographic as guinea pigs. We could have no choice. There was, because
I'd heard that, but we're talking about the efficacy of the virus and of the vaccine and how it's going to provide some protection against COVID-19. To say that we're using the older population as guinea pigs, I think then adds fuel to the fire.
The concept
that it's not
they're
really
not guarantees.
Ready. Yes,
they're not guarantees because according to our own CMO, if I were to quote us, that there's so many unknowns.
There is. And there is with any vaccine, but the speed of this one is the thing that
The Astro.
the speed of all of them that
Uh-huh.
that a year ago we had just found out about this virus, and over a year ago, and now we have a vaccine.
One explanation is that prior to the COVID-19 vaccine and the tests, in trying to get vaccination tested, etc., the funding was not readily available. And so that would have accounted for the many years it would take to really develop a vaccine. But there was federal funding for it. No, is what was said. As one of the ways of explaining how, answering people's queries to how come this happened technically overnight.
I understand that. And yeah, I mean, we haven't got a vaccine or a cure for cancer or HIV/AIDS, or there are a number of conditions I could mention that we don't have cures for. Diabetes yet, and they've been around for how long?
Well, they don't quite decimate populations at the same scale as diabetes, cancer, etc. And so we know that the pharmaceutical industries, they make money from selling cures.
From selling treatments.
Treatments. That is what you're here for.
Yes.
Okay. So this is not quite a cure per se, but it's being sold or presented as a cure.
It's being presented as a cure, but it's not.
It's not a cure.
It's not. Basically, if after you've had the vaccine, if you come into contact with people that do have COVID-19, you are less likely to suffer the severe symptoms of it. Yes.
So is it like a fail-safe?
Yeah. It's like the flu vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Which you have to take like every year?
Yeah.
So to speak. So for 1 o'clock today,
yes.
1 p.m., we would like to see, of course, leaders who lead by example. They're very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
But then the frontline workers, they will be prioritizing. One would suggest that those in the health.
Yes, I think they are part of the first category. Those that are going to be directly dealing with people that have that need testing and may or may not have the virus. So I think those people that are involved with the quarantining and stuff like that.
Yes.
The doctors and the nurses and all those frontline people, and the people that are transporting them from like airport to quarantine facilities.
Oh, okay. We when I say we, taxi drivers are often termed as ambassadors.
Okay.
And so one would suggest that would lend us as our ambassadors who would be at the front line when it comes to the tourism industry would be among the first to be vaccinated. You're interacting with people. And we want to be able to give a guarantee to our visitors.
One of the things that the Minister for Health was saying was that she would like to see every single person have the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, so that we can get back to some sort of normalcy. With that in mind, there is a schedule and they have categorized the different people as to when they're going to get the vaccine. So I think that we have to think about the medical profession first, seeing as they are hands-on, and those people that are dealing with tour people coming into the island and taking them to the quarantine facilities. I don't think we should say, taxi drivers as a whole should get it. Everybody's categorized, so once you fall into those categories, you get it accordingly.
So restaurant workers, of course, they too would be in that category. But not really the priority at the moment.
No.
I think they listed some 20,000. Let me see. No. From Dominica, 2,000.
Yes, vaccines.
Vaccines from Dominica and 21,000 from COVAX.
All right, okay.
And so that would be like 23,000 our population. And of course, this has to be shared between St Kitts and Nevis at the moment. So, they would have launching protocols on Nevis also.
I think that the protocols include, it was a federation-wide document.
So, the 18 to 80. 18 to 80.
18 to 79.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, okay, yes, yeah. Well, if you're 80, you would have to have a medical assessment before.
Yes. Yeah.
You are. Okay. If anyone wishes to weigh in on this particular debate, because we have another one to touch on, this would be the rolling out of the vaccination process today at the Newtown Health Center, where the Minister of Health and other members of Parliament will be, of course, rolling up the sleeves to lead by example. And we have a call on the line. Caller, good morning. Welcome to Voices.
Good morning. Good morning, the King, and good morning to your host.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
It's interesting that your host has mentioned that we don't have a cure for HIV. We don't have a cure for quite a number of things that she just stated that we don't have cures for. Now, I've been following the president of Tanzania. We have two African countries that make decisions pertaining to the virus, Nigeria and Tanzania. Nigeria has accepted the vaccine. Tanzania has rejected it. Now, I tend to follow what the president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, is saying on a very serious level, because people who are taking the vaccine are dying, and we don't have, let's say, we don't have our own people developing vaccine. Right? When I say own, I'm referring to the black race.
Research.
Yes.
Really?
And this is very serious because, to me, in my opinion, this is a war. This is a war against race. It's a war against survival. And my own interpretation of it is like, okay, well, looking at it from a historical point of view, a biblical point of view, things are ending while things are beginning. And to each his own, to their own interpretation. I can interpret it how I see it, to my own race. We should be careful about this vaccine, because the whole thing that's around what we are getting, who knows what we are getting? I mean, there's a big question mark over who is taking publicly and saying, well, they're taking this. How are we going to know what they're taking? And
Quite so.
I mean, this is a serious thing. This is very serious. And why I say that? Because, I don't want to sound like a stick record, but I know 400 years of slavery has expired. And the enemy, and again, we can all interpret the enemy however we choose. I know how I choose to interpret it. Because they're not going to hand over the power to us. Everything is still in their hand. And until we as a people come to appreciate who we are and know who we are and where we stand on the world stage, black people are being disrespected globally. Globally. I mean, we have even here in this small island, the race that comes here and they do things on their own merit. And I witnessed something one day on 4th Street, on Church Street, where a police officer went to approach a race of people who park a vehicle right on the yellow line at government headquarters. And they're just responding whatever they choose to, however, and they didn't acknowledge the police officer. So we have to wake up. We need to wake up and pay attention to this vaccine, because this is not a light matter. This is very serious. We need to pay attention to this. Thank you for listening. I'll try and get back here with some other views.
I do appreciate your contribution. There was a comment that the caller made about black scientists or own people are not involved. And I would beg to differ, because I've seen some black scientists and political leaders at the forefront advocating, people in the medical profession, swearing to the safety of the vaccine. So one would have to take that particular comment with a bit of caution. There are black professionals in science, in other words, who are advocating, involved in the research of this. So as messengers, they're sending a message to us, it's safe. It's not only the other scientists, but we are involved also. Sometimes many of us are not seen.
Yes.
Like example, I watched a video yesterday about this guy saying the reason why black people hate white people is because of they are more professionals. They create more things, and he mentioned two things that he said they created or invented. That was the word, invented. Lawnmower.
Yes.
And then he mentioned computer.
Yes.
I'm thinking, are you serious? So I was listening to see where he was leading up
Yes.
to. The fellow is wrong. He's far, far, far. These can be researched and documented. The first computer was done by a black person, same as lawnmower.
Yes.
So I was thinking, okay, where's he really going with it?
Yes.
And so we do have black inventors and scientists who are intrinsically involved in these developments and
Yes.
research, etc. So we have to. It's an ongoing debate.
It is, and I think it's all sort of wrapped up in conspiracy theories and genocide theories.
But when you have reason to mistrust,
yes,
it becomes part of the conversation.
Exactly, and I'm not denying that we as a race of people, have reasons to mistrust. We really do. But I think that they also have to acknowledge that there are more black people, in science, developing cures and stuff like that, than we think they are.
Yeah. The gentleman who invented or discovered blood plasma, he died on the step of a hospital waiting for a transfusion, and they just ignored him. He was a black person. I mean, he actually discovered or developed blood plasma, and he died on the steps of a hospital. He thought he was a pauper.
Yes.
But he's a black person.
Yeah.
But we're not taught these things in
Exactly.
school, so we don't see ourselves as part of the cures per se.
And as part of, we don't see ourselves as part of the infrastructure. So, so because there is a lot of history that has been withheld from black people. And it's about, unless you go out and find it out for yourself. I mean, now there seems to be a movement now of different groups highlighting the achievements of black people throughout the years.
The re-education process.
Yes, and I think that's something that we really have to, a bandwagon that all black people should jump on, is finding out these facts, finding out the contributions that we have made that have been hidden.
Okay. While we're waiting for a call, I'd like to shout out Amber Lewis Hodge down there in Anguilla, DJ Marisha up in Bronx, Chris Collins, and we're going to take this call. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Hey, good morning, Socrates.
Sister.
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning. Her name is Margret
morning.
Stevens.
Your co-host. Which one?
Co-host.
Huh?
Co-hostess.
All right, your co-hostess. Papa, you're correct, hostess, host male, hostess female.
Correct.
Good morning to all the listeners at home and abroad. Good morning to all of our people up there under the ice and the sleet.
Yes.
I'm praying for you, We're praying for all of them,
They need it.
Yes, it's very, and I'm glad to hear that electricity is beginning to come back.
In those demographics, Texas, etc.
Yes, Texas. Because I have a nephew down in Houston. Good morning, Calvin, Fluke, and Nelson. I don't even know if you're listening, but you never know, Sometimes people from abroad say, Mrs. Henry, I hear you,
Correct.
I just have my radio on and I just hear you.
Well, Monarch is
So
missing
if
it.
you
Is
hear me
here
this morning, good morning. This is still WINN Henry.
Yes.
Now, I am glad you made that statement. I think some of us have an inferiority complex, Even though we say that our people invented this and that, we're still thinking that we're less than. When you go and calling people enemy, you don't, when you say you don't regard other people about enemy or friend. Just another set. You know what we stand for. We know what they stand for. And you operate within that. Otherwise, you go there with your complex, and everybody from another ethnic race you see as the enemy. You're not going to develop any relationships. You're not going to do that. How are you going to know who is enemy and who is friend? When you start out by calling everybody the enemy. And I had on my television one day, and there was a black scientist who was working, I think it's on the Pfizer one, you know.
Yes.
We're working on it. I don't understand where we get this kind of inferiority complex from. If we, they were even talking about, I think it's penicillin or one of those. They said black people start vaccines. So people took our vaccine. It's a mutual logic. Black people were the first. I don't remember the name. Do you know the name?
No, I don't.
Yes, I heard it on, I don't know if it's Junior Station or on the television. Talking about the first man who discovered vaccine. We have blacks, you see, because we don't hear about them. We come to the conclusion that is they making it.
Yeah.
We are inventors. Maybe we should start by insisting that our children do maths and sciences seriously. Because we got this kind of inferiority complex. You know, I heard the other day, you know, the GPS you use on your phone.
Yes.
A black lady.
Is a black woman, you know.
Yes, I saw it the other
She was
day.
in the military.
A black mathematician.
Yep.
Who developed it.
She was in the U.S. military.
Yes.
A black
Yes.
person. Yeah.
You know, we don't think much about ourselves, so we just, oh, them they're the enemy, and oh, they're the... Look at our phones. You know, the other day we used to punch, talking about rapid transition. You know how far, in a short time, the modern phones have come from what we used to have? You remember when
From the
BlackBerry
mid-80s to
was
now?
it?
Yep.
We got to think properly. I am not saying don't find out the contents. But if you hear, you either trust your own people or you don't trust your own people. And we must stop the enemy talk.
Well, I guess he didn't
You
want to
must stop
say,
You
refer
decide
to the
enemy when you
race, but he
interact
just
with
lump people
them.
together and use that terminology.
Yeah, but listen to me. You decide who is enemy and who is friend when you have interaction. There are some black people who never interact with a white person, you know, and vice versa.
Quite so.
And these are the ones sometimes who create this, well, them is the enemy and you're the enemy. And even sometimes in churches, them is the enemy and we're the enemy. We got to think, we have to be more enlightened. I understand and appreciate we're trying to uplift the black race. But you can't uplift them by this as a comparison. We talk about Marcus Garvey. He wasn't running around telling black people that that's the enemy, you know. He would say, you are a royal people, you. That's what we need to be saying.
Yes.
Socrates is special. He has talents, he has abilities. Now, Socrates is not supposed to use this thing because them is the enemy. You see what I'm talking about, Socrates?
Well, we have the discussion. It's more or less bringing awareness to the fact that the vaccination program begins today, and you must have that debate.
To me, I want to hear that Dr. Denzel Douglas,
Along with
and not Congress, what's his name? Dr. Hanley,
Dr. Drew.
and his senator, along with the whole, because they say Parliament first, right?
Yes.
Let our people see. Because if it does not happen, you're going to have the same set of old story. Well, you know how we are, narrow-minded. We line up behind people without even thinking for ourselves.
Well, our friend...
Whether Timothy take it or not, that shouldn't decide if you're going to take it. You must make up your own mind.
Our friend from Montserrat 2 weeks ago said that the minister, or the chief minister, and his wife would have taken the vaccination, but the Minister of Health didn't.
They said it to them.
Montserrat, give us a call, please.
Good morning, my good family.
Definitely.
No, that to me is crazy, not crazy, skewed thinking.
Well,
They had
I
sent
think it was really a
for
fact.
them. They won't just send so many. You know what I mean? They'll send the 3 or the 4.
All right.
We have got to wise up. We have the CARPA, the responsibility, I say, as to the security and the safety of the vaccine for Caribbean people. We talk about black people, Caribbean people. Should rest with copper. You understand?
I'm totally.
The CDC decide for America. The British have their own thing. We got scientists at University of the West Indies stop degrading your people. They're working on things, you know.
So, Stephen Henry is saying, trust the science, trust our medical professionals, and take the vaccine.
Listen to me what I say. We are scientists if we're making it so we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah, I'm just want to get a confirmation from you because I'm going to go to station break right now. So I want to hear that Stephen Henry is advocating to take based on the evidence presented, it's safe.
But you can't say it's safe.
So we should take it.
Somebody.
Okay.
Copper is in Trinidad. So they are the enemy too?
No.
Who is the enemy?
Well, we didn't ask him to clarify that, so, you know.
I mean, in relation to the vaccine, eh?
Oh, okay.
Who trying to wipe out the Caribbean black people?
No, I don't believe that's the case.
Those are the kind of conclusion you come to when you do logic. All right, then.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your contribution. At this point in time, we're going to break for a word from our kind sponsors and be back with you right after.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Honey, I have so much to do, and now I need to go to TDC Home and Building Depot to buy the new fridge.
Samantha, stop worrying. You can purchase the fridge and whatever else you may need with TDC Home and Building Depot's curbside and delivery service.
Really?
Just send your request via WhatsApp or email, pay online, and get your purchase by pickup or delivery.
Wow! I'm going to try TDC curbside and delivery service now.
Terms and conditions apply. Check our social media pages for all the details.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
And we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Hi, good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
And I'm giving thanks, and good morning to your special guest.
Good morning.
Yes, I just tuned in just before Mrs. Henry. Good morning, Mrs. Henry. Called in. I caught a little bit of the gist of where you're going. Mrs. Henry was trying to figure out the person who started the vaccine. Back then it was called the inoculation. It was a young person who was being taken from the Gold Coast, Ghana, and he was in the New England area, the Boston area.
Okay.
That's around 1788. His name is Odesimus.
Odesimus.
And yes, he is the person who, he has been part of that was the plantation, the owner, realized the potential and started out with the acacia pricking of the acacia and, the simulation and stuff like that.
The
And
acacia
it
tree?
took a while before it caught on that, yes, this was the way to inoculate and the results of it. And he gave the background, the history as to how, they did it back in the Gold
Ghana?
Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So? Hello?
Hello?
We're with you. We're hearing you.
You said something?
We were listening to you. You were saying that
Okay, yeah.
you were saying how it was done back in the Gold Coast.
Yes, and then he brought it to the Massachusetts area, and then it took a while before, the powers that be, like the president, because this thing was spreading like wildfire, and they really wanted. Even though one or two results was positive, and you're going to see, the process started to, much persons wasn't convinced till after a while they really jumped on board and started that procedure.
Would this be around the time of the Spanish flu?
Pardon me?
Would this be around the time of the Spanish flu? What the term the Spanish flu?
The term?
Was it the time frame? The time frame, you said there was a need for this vaccination. Was it around the time of the Spanish flu? 1918 thereabouts.
I'm not sure which one of the what pandemic was there, but it was rampant in that area, in the Massachusetts area and other areas. But the president and everything got involved, and yes, they eventually decided to roll it out. And that was the inception of what they call it.
And his name was Odysseus?
Odysseus.
Huh?
Odysseus.
Name was Odysseus, you said. We're going to have to research that.
Odysseus, yes. That was his name. Odysseus from the Gold Coast, the Ghana area.
Okay.
But the king, what I am getting at, and I want to touch on what your guest was saying earlier too. Yes, we do have persons in high places, but like Benjamin Carver, who had his own scientific laboratory with, they experimented the peanuts and all of that.
George Washington Carver.
It is not so with those high persons who are scientists in certain areas. You have to adhere by the guidelines of what this institution says. It's not like an independent person running his own laboratory and coming up with this conclusion. If a certain institution have an agenda, doesn't matter how brilliant you are as a scientist. You're under their auspices and you're going to carry out their agenda. That is totally different to what my argument would be. But the question might ask, why is it collectively we cannot come up with such like, with all of the brilliant minds that we have, to really start to roll out a vaccine on our own? We are seeing everyone is doing it, but yet we, with all of the expertise, we are only benefiting not ourselves collectively, but we are benefiting other institutions with their agenda. We are just working for a paycheck, and we have to adhere by what this institution says, in spite of all our brilliancy in sciences and everything else. So that is where it comes.
You're talking about the WHO?
No, he's just talking about in general.
They're governing bodies.
No, he's talking about in general that, we're talking about that we do have brilliant minds and we do have brilliant scientists out there, but he's saying that they are dictated to by the agendas of the companies that they work for.
No, that's not to say that there's not a concerted effort.
Yes.
And there's not brilliant minds that are doing things independently to benefit us. But those things wouldn't be approved of. There are doubts and all these question marks towards these things. We have seen it. I would not say it was a cure, but we have seen it with the concoction or whatever you would call it, with what has happened in Madagascar. It is not going to be recognized by the World Health Organization and those highly institutions that will approve things. It has happened time immemorial with everything we break through it. It's just brushed aside. So these are the challenges that we are up against. And the guy that came up with the concoction from the Madagascar thing. It is a Congolese doctor who was based in France, and he decided he's going to go home with all of the threats that he was being encountered with in those scientific field in France. They did not want to let him go. And he decided his service is more beneficial back home there. That's where he came. So we do have a brilliant minds. We do have people. But it's like this concerted effort, and when they comes up with their things is not being rolled out in the way, because it has to be approved by the World Health Organization and stuff like that.
Understood.
That's the thing. And everything has been so weaponized today.
Yes.
In the strains of marijuana. Even when you go to the grocery store, you have to be reading the labels to see what is organic and what is not, what is more beneficial to the body. So the weaponization of these things is what is hurting. It's all good and intention with a purpose to help save humanity.
Yeah.
And keep us on a good path. But when it is weaponized, when it is manipulated for benefit.
Yeah.
By such evil intent.
Yes.
Yes. We are human beings. We have evil intent also.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks for your contribution.
For your contribution. Do you know him?
No.
He's I have to have you meet him. He's called Africa.
Okay. I fully understand what he's saying, and you know, in my field, I've been saying exactly the same things. You know, in dietetics, we use the body mass index, but the Asian community have their own.
Take the call.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, I was the first caller, and I want to
recognize your voice.
Africa for expounding on the point that was. I mean, I probably didn't bring across the way he did, but that's my drift.
Yes.
And you know, everything that was done to us, and well, with all due respect to Miss Henry, I love her. Everything that was done to us was done by design. You can go back to our own education system. Everything was done by design.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that we don't have scientists. Mrs. Henry make a point with the lady who discovered the GPS. But how was it? Was it out there in the news? And for how long? These are the points that I'm making. Yes, our people have discovered and invent things, but we know how all that came on, because at those times when these things was developed, you know, we was under the master's thumb.
Yeah.
We're still under the master's thumb. I can bring it right home to even our Kentucky Fried recipe was done by a black woman. You know. So these are the points that we need to be aware of. We're not saying that our people are not brilliant people. Our people are inventors. And I must thank Africa for bringing it across, you know, more eloquent than I did. But that's my drift. The vaccine, I tend to go with the President, John Magufuli of Tanzania, and he's saying that, yes, I mean, he didn't say it. Everything is a weapon today.
Yes.
You know, and I know that 400 years of slavery has expired. You think they're going to pass the baton on to us like that?
No.
So it's the struggle. Everything is still in their hand. So, yeah, we need to have our own scientists developing, and they might have done it, yeah. But we still can't close our eyes to, well, who knows what we are getting when we know that there's a, what do you want to call it, biological warfare, whatever, is there. It's about genetics.
Yes.
And you can turn it in whatever corner you want to turn it at, whether it's in marriage or you know, to keep a bloodline going, or by just eliminating. Everyone have to interpret it in their own understanding and the way they see things. And we can go right back to everything that started.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
To each his own, but we have to wake up and come together as a people.
I would suggest that your caution is due to your awareness.
Yes.
The more educated we are as a people, we become less of the sheep that just humbly follows.
The king,
yes,
listen,
sir.
I came across something the other day, right? There's a group of African kids right now in a classroom with computer, and they're being taught African history. If we been taught our history, we wouldn't have been glorifying anybody about ourselves. Not that we're going to hate people. We are all human beings. But we see, look at it. You hear the commercial Caribbean tourism is dead in the water? Why don't we create a black tourism? Let us have a black tourism. All my years I work in the hotel industry, I ask my peers, when are we going to see a resort with black tourists in it? Let us now go for black tourism.
I think because of COVID-19 and how it has devastated the industry, there's a rethink. I've heard a conversation that now they're travel agents who are trying to book directly from their flights from Jamaica going straight to I think it's Ghana. I'm supposed to be on one of those flights, so there is
well, I'm on that flight to United Kingdom.
You're on the flight?
I am so on that flight.
Are there efforts been
I don't want
made?
my credit to run out.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah, there are efforts made to have a direct link with the tourism authority in Ghana.
I understand that. I understand that, you know, that we have...
It's a small door.
Yeah, I understand it. You know, and I fully agree with this gentleman, and I fully agree with Africa, because these are things that, you know, amongst my group of people that we've talked about for a long period of time, that we have no ownership of anything. You know, St Kitts is supposed to be an independent federation, yet we still pledge allegiance to the Queen. Why?
Barbados is addressing that?
I'm not talking about Barbados, I'm talking about St Kitts,
Yeah.
the federation.
But I was thinking one by one.
So we still, but you had an opportunity when you went for independence not to do that. Why do we have a written constitution imposed by the British government when the British government itself does not have a written constitution? And it doesn't have a written constitution because it knows that it binds you to something that is very difficult to change.
Interesting.
You know, why are we still using British law? Why are we still wearing wigs? Blonde wigs. That doesn't make any sense.
I find that to be so ridiculous. About 15 years ago, I saw it was I think the opening of the bar of the High Court. The lawyers, the barristers, left the St George's Anglican Church in parade, black robes and white wigs, and I'm thinking, really?
I mean, my daughter's a barrister, but she's a barrister in England. That is part of their uniform. Why is it our uniform?
Explain for me and our listeners. We're going to take this call, but I would like to explain the whole concept about the wig and what it represented. Call your 11 voices.
That wig, that I was compelled to call in because of the wig. Why are we still wearing wigs? The magistrates and the judges do have to wear the wig because that wig is more than what the eye can see when it comes to that wig. That wig is symbolic. It's symbolic of power, but it's not just a wig of any hair texture.
Okay, here's what, Africa.
Wig,
explain the
and
reason for the wig.
The texture of that wig is the resemblance of who we are. It's only one particular type of hair texture that wig symbolizes. And it is the wig that if Socrates had hair on his head, that would have symbolized it. But there are others who have hair on their head that are in our community. And that is the symbol of power that is being bestowed on, that is endowed on those in authority in that high place as a judge who will make the final decision.
Let's go beyond the symbolism of the wig.
As to if the person is innocent or guilty. And
so
that is where the power comes from.
Let's go beyond the symbolism of the wig. What was the reason for the wig in the first place? Please explain it.
But Africa, our chiefs in Africa, and those that handed out punishment, they wore very elaborate headdresses, but that were indigenous to their tribes. What I'm saying is, why are we wearing wigs that come out of Britain?
I'm not sure if you're referring to the persons who wear wigs and false hair, or the authority that wear the wig.
No, I'm talking about
jurisprudence system.
Yes, the jurisprudence system.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what I was talking about.
What that wig concept comes from.
I understand.
From the symbolism.
I understand the symbolism of it because
authority of power that came down from us, and they adopted it in their system.
I understand that, but I'm saying,
Yes.
but why should we still have wigs that have blonde hair? Why don't we have something that is
Customs and
our
practice of
own,
the
that is
British.
based on our history, that is based on our culture?
Yeah.
So I understand the wig system. My daughter is part of that organization. So I understand the wig system and the authority that the wig holds, especially when they used to hang people. The judge would have that one wig removed and have another one put on that had black ribbons in it because he had to give the death sentence. So I understand the authority of that. I understand what it stands for. What I am saying is that is British history. What about our history? What about our culture?
What should be reflected?
Yes, how we reflect our power.
Yes. But what I'm saying is that the British adopted it not from their own imagination.
But from
not from
African,
their own intuition. They adopted it from the power.
Yes, and made it their own.
Which is us.
Yes.
But they adopted it because they naturally cannot grow that type of
curly hair.
Hair might grow, but it's not gonna make that 9 to the 9 power of 9, which is the highest mathematical equation. It wasn't filtered into the 9 Isa, which that wig symbolizes, which is the highest mathematical equation. Okay?
Yeah.
But they did adopted it, and there are things that has been adopted by the quote-unquote British Caucasian, like what the Nazis adopted, like the swastika. And then we look at those things and we say, I am not going to admire the swastika. But if you were to go to Lalibela in Ethiopia, long before the Germans adopted the swastika, you will see the swastika, the sign of the swastika within those huge rock churches at Lalibela.
Yeah.
And if you go deeper into West Africa, amongst the Togo people, the Ife, you see the swastika, which is a symbol of the moon in a counterclock motion. So it's like, wow, these people has adopted everything from us.
Yes.
What about the
use it
beefeaters
for their
hairstyle?
own intent, but we need to discover these things on our own.
Yes.
And appreciate them more.
Yes.
Got about 7 minutes moving up to the media newscast.
All right, thanks for listening.
Right then. I was going to continue about the beef eaters hairstyle and all that, but we really wanted to get into the vaccination rollout.
Yes, the vaccination rollout.
And all that, because it's happening here today at 1 p.m. and it's a significant development within the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis as it relates to our economy, overcoming all the negative impact of COVID-19. It is worth discussion.
It is.
And so we digress because of mainly the mistrust of the vaccine, but the reality is we will have to, I want to make a decision because I think at one point it's going to become mandatory.
No.
It won't?
No.
Yeah. What about no test, no flight, no vaccine, no flight?
I don't see how they can make it mandatory, the flu vaccine.
We have a caller. We got about 5 minutes to the hour. Call your 11 voices. Mark, will you take that?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. It's me again. Now, Socrates says something which is very interesting, you know. If you notice, most, if not all, of the political leaders in the Caribbean have pledged to take the vaccine. The question then becomes, what is the extent of trust that the population has in their leaders? Thought about that?
Yes.
I'm on board with you.
Because leaders now have to ask the question, you know. Leaders now have to ask the question, do my people trust me?
Interesting.
And as to, well, you should expect.
But that's an expectation, and when it comes to my health, I don't trust anybody.
You must trust somebody because you go to the doctor. You do trust
But I do
somebody.
I do my research first.
Hello?
I do my research first.
Yeah, but you do go to the doctor.
Yeah, but I do my research
You
first.
can't say you don't trust.
Not
You do
100%, no. I trust God. I trust God 100%.
You research don't mean you don't trust. And research means you go with knowledge.
Yeah.
Because you could have the knowledge
But then
and the person doing the application.
it's not blind trust.
It's not blind trust, and I think that when it comes to politics in the Caribbean, that's blind trust.
Sometimes we know better, but we know we like it so.
No, because I am thinking about it, The question has to be posed. Because are our leaders putting themselves in danger? Because if you're asking, like in Antigua, the whole cabinet and whatever, are they putting our countries in danger? Have you thought about that?
Yes.
When all of them pledge and do it at the same time?
That's
what is the message
interesting because
all right then.
I've spoken to Fritz Smith in Anguilla.
Mm-hmm.
He is an official who took the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And he said his wife told him that for about 12 hours after he ran a high fever.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, he's feeling okay.
And that's quite common with
There's
vaccines.
a reaction with vaccines,
yes,
etc., etc.
Yes. But, I don't blindly trust anybody. Even when I go to the doctor, I still have to do my research before that. And even after he's given his diagnosis and written the prescription,
Mm-hmm.
I don't just go and fill the prescription. I research the medication first and decide whether or not I want to take it.
What have your research on the vaccine told you? Having established that you don't trust anybody 100%, there's no blind trust. What have your research on the vaccine told you? You're not telling me. Okay, but we do have to take this seriously because it is. We had a fork in the road, and to take or not to take becomes moot afterward based on the information we're being given and what we're told. The whole presentation, there's a rollout today. Cabinet or Parliament will be taking it, and from there, and we encourage you because we guarantee or we speak to the safety of it. And so the trust issue that Sister Henry spoke about, that now will come to the test.
Yes, I mean, and there's an expectation that up to 70% of the population of the Federation will take the vaccine. I don't know. I don't know if that
What
number...
percentage speaks to the term they use, herd immunity?
70%.
70%.
Yeah.
So those who figure, okay, I'll be in the 30%, but I'll benefit as a result.
Yes.
And somebody give me a big grin saying, me too. We got about 30 seconds up before the midday newscast, and we've been discussing the fact that today, the 21st of February. 22nd? Yes. Yeah, I'm slow. I need to get a virus in here. Will be the day that the government is launching the rollout of the vaccine at 1 p.m. at the
Newtown Dental Center.
Is it Dental Center now?
Dental Center,
So it went from the community to the health center. So just to be accurate.
But they're all in the same vicinity.
Latest update at 1 p.m. today, the Prime Minister, Minister of Health, and other officials will be rolling out the vaccination process. And they mentioned they'll be creating through the IT database to be able to document
everybody who's taking it.
Beautiful. On that note, we are going to get up for the midday newscast, and then we will be right back after. Thanks to listeners and viewers who joined us in the first half. We will see you on the Bert David. Remember Bert David?
Sorry?
He was a host of the program. He said, we'll see you on the other side.
Yes.
Audio, sir.
Found the sound 98.9 WINN FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow. tomorrow secured. Local agents, DeLeo Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the WIN Headline News, I am Kevon Brown. The headlines: COVID-19 vaccinations begin today, Monday, February 22nd, at the Newtown Health Center. In the region, Antigua and Barbuda records 3 deaths in a single day. ABS Antigua reports a Sunday night, February 21st, in its COVID-19 report. Internationally, Israel starts reopening with implementation of Green Pass as nearly half of population receives jab. Now, the details. The Federation of St Kitts and Nevis moves another step forward in its battle against the COVID-19 virus that has decimated economies and killed more than 1 million people worldwide when it launched its national vaccination program on Monday, February 22nd. Health Minister Akila Byron Nisbet offered details on the vaccination plan in a broadcast aired Sunday, February 21st, just after 3 p.m.
To initiate our vaccination rollout and awareness campaign, the general public should kindly note that at 1 p.m. on Monday, 22nd February, the Ministry of Health will launch the national rollout of its AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine at the Newtown Health Center, Ponce Pasture, St. Kitts.
The minister said while identifying parliamentarians and frontline workers as the first people in line for the vaccination. St. Kitts and Nevis has not recorded a death since the coronavirus outbreak and has 2 active cases of the 41 confirmed cases of COVID-19. The Commonwealth of Dominica has already donated 2,000 Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines to St. Kitts and Nevis. Another 50,000 vaccines are expected in weeks from the COVID-19 Vaccines Global Access Facility and other humanitarian donations, the minister confirmed.
The key points of the country's vaccination implementation plan are as follows. The vaccine will be administered to persons 18 to 80 years of age. Persons over 80 years of age will be required to be evaluated by their physicians prior to receiving the vaccine. Vaccine information brochures can be found on the covid.gov.kn website or on the social media pages of both St Kitts and Nevis health promotion units. Persons can also collect brochures at the community health centers and the administrative office of the Ministry of Health at Bladen's Development. Administration of the vaccine will be based on an appointment system. Persons who are interested in being vaccinated may call the health hotline 311 or visit the nearest health center to make an appointment. Once the first dose of the vaccine is given, persons will be issued with a COVID-19 vaccination record card and an appointment to return in 10 weeks for the second dose of the vaccine. Additional information regarding the vaccines and the vaccination process will be disseminated to the public via various modes of communication as part of the Ministry's awareness campaign. The following health centers will be used for the initial rollout of the phase 1 of the vaccine: on St. Kitts, Newtown, Bastyr, Sandy Point, and Tabernacle Health Centers, and on Nevis, Charlestown, Gingerland, and Combermere Health Centers. During the subsequent phases, all 11 community health centers in St. Kitts and 6 in Nevis will be utilized for vaccination. Please take note that the following categories of personnel who fall into the first phase and who will be vaccinated during this first phase starting Monday, 22nd February 2021 are as follows: healthcare workers, those who work in high to very high risks, such as specialists, internists, doctors and nurses on the COVID-19 ward, operating theater, intensive care unit, accident and emergency, COVID-19 testers, health center nurses, managers and assistants, and emergency medical services personnel. Older adults ages 60 to 79 years with chronic diseases and 2 or more comorbidities. Border protection staff along the corridor of containment, which includes port health, immigration, customs, ground transportation, including taxi drivers, hotel workers at front desks, security, and lobby. Please note that we are also going to reserve an emergency amount of vaccine just in the event that there may be an outbreak or response mitigation required.
What is the likely impact of the newly installed traffic lights on the flow of traffic in central Bastyr? Representatives from the Department of Public Works, Mr. George Gilbert, Chief Engineer, and a fellow engineer, Mr. Livingston Pemberton, talked about that issue on Monday, February 22nd's Traffic Talk on WINN's Island T.
Why so many lights on the Bay Road? How would we manage them?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I go back to the point I was making a while ago. Port Zante, second Coast Fair. We have to move a lot of people in a short space of time. And so if you are leaving Port Zante west, the idea is to have the traffic only turn left.
Right.
Okay? So you make your way down.
Tell them which one is left. Tell them
Left,
which one is
left, you're going
the ferry
towards the
terminal.
Senate Off or towards the ferry terminal. You can then turn into College Street if you so desire. Hence the reason for the signalization of College Street. And you make your way up, you can make your way onto Keon Street, or you can make your way onto the bypass road. All right? And then you can go to your destination. So the idea is not to have traffic going right, because that would clog that particular area. If we look at Port Zante East.
Tell them where's Port Zante East.
Port Zante East by the Sands Complex.
Good.
We are going to be sending the traffic up towards Birdwalk.
Alone?
Yes.
So we can no longer take a left.
Good. Hence the reason for signalizing that area. So you realize how traffic will be flowing now?
Yeah, east and west.
Good.
Away from each other.
All right. All right? Because remember...
If you're coming out of a stop.
Right. Remember that what we are trying to do, we are trying to move a lot of people in a short space of time. We have to understand that our visitors, if they don't have a pleasant experience in leaving the boat, they can actually give us a negative rating. So this is something that was also taken into consideration. So we want the people to know that a lot of thought would have gone into the signalizing of these intersections.
6 of the 7 intersections have traffic lights erected. However, they are not operational at this time, Pemberton stated.
Public Works Department is updating the public as to the development with the traffic signalization in the Basti area. Currently, we are looking at 7 intersections, and I'm going to try and go in order. We are starting at the gas station in the vicinity of SL Horsford, that is Dickinson Street, Edward Lane, and Wellington Road. So that is one area that will be signalized. And then we move from there and we go to College Street. We are going to be signalizing the Upper College Street area as well as the Lower College Street area. So along College Street, that will be signalized. And then we move to Port Zante West. That will also be signalized. And Port Zante West, for those who might not know, that's directly in front of Rams Supermarket. Then we move to Port Zante East. That is over at the Suns Complex, just outside from WINN FM. That will also be signalized. And then we move to Sandung Road. That will also be signalized. And finally, the 7th one will be the Birdwalk Bay Road intersection. So those are the 7 intersections that will be signalized, and we are aiming to regulate the traffic a lot more in the Basti area.
Mr. Pemberton, we are at what stage we are at this moment as we speak?
As we are speaking now, the lights have been erected in 6 of the 7 intersections. They are not functional as yet. They are not operational. They have not been commissioned. They have just been erected. So if you go in those areas, you will see the lights. The only one where the lights are not, or they should have been up this weekend, would be the Birdwalk intersection. Okay, but all other 6 areas, the lights are up already. We are also in the process of putting in what we call the sensors. That will be the next stage. And following that, we will have once all of the infrastructure is in, we will have the signal technician coming in, and he will be going through the process of making the lights operational. Okay, the Birdwalk intersection is one that is causing us to think a little bit more, because we have had over the years quite a bit of issue, and the officer here is smiling because she's very familiar with that intersection. And so what we're trying to do there is to ensure that there's a free flow of traffic in that area. And one of the things that we're looking at, for example, is that when you're coming from the Bay Road end and you're heading towards the Central Bank end, we're attempting to put in what we call a slip lane. And so you will just continue going as opposed to being stopped there. All right? If you have to go to the Birdwalk area, then you will have to wait for the signalized light to tell you to turn. So that is one of the features that we're looking at to improve the flow of traffic in the Birdwalk intersection, and the officer will be very happy for that, I think.
When asked about how intersections are chosen for traffic lights, Pemberton had this to say.
Okay, it is based on scientific data.
Okay.
The government would have engaged a consultant, ADEB consultant out of Jamaica, and they would have conducted the traffic study. All right, so you would have had persons at each intersection. The persons would have been recording the flow of vehicle, where they were going, where they were turning, and so you get numbers. And out of this study,
the data,
out of this data, that is when you were able to determine where the actual traffic lights should have gone and the need for them.
Antigua and Barbuda records 3 deaths in a single day. ABS Antigua reports Sunday night, February 21st, in its COVID-19 report.
And for the very latest in terms of our Antigua and Barbuda COVID-19 update, the country has reached another grim milestone, recording 3 more COVID-19 related deaths in a single day. 3 women died yesterday, bringing the country's total number of COVID-19 related deaths to 14. All the deaths resulted from non-imported infections, and they passed away at the Mount St. John's Medical Center. All 3 had underlying medical conditions, and their ages are 77, 56, and 86. Meanwhile, the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Antigua and Barbuda remains at 598, with no new laboratory confirmed cases of the deadly virus, where there are 303 results pending. Active cases of COVID-19 here in Antigua and Barbuda now stand at 366, following an additional recovery. The Ministry of Health is expected to issue a further update later this evening. Now, as the country begins its COVID-19 inoculation program, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, warns that economic recovery hinges on herd immunity. He's once again appealing for citizens to make themselves available for the Oxford AstraZeneca jab when the opportunity presents itself.
The longer we stay to achieve herd immunity, the more protracted the economy recovery will be, and certainly the longer the hardships.
Yes.
I mean, more people will be unemployed for a longer period of time, and evidently more hospitalizations and deaths. And, ultimately we're trying to reduce or eliminate, if possible, the amount of hospitalizations and deaths.
The end goal, he says, is to significantly reduce the number of hospitalizations and deaths resulting from the disease.
The vaccine evidently is the most powerful weapon that we have in our armory to fight COVID, but it would not be effective in achieving herd immunity unless we have at least 70% of the population inoculated.
So speaking during his weekly radio program on Point FM. In the meantime, Brown is calling on his government's political opponents to lay down arms in the interest of achieving the goals of the COVID-19 vaccination program. In making the call for a political ceasefire, Prime Minister Brown is pledging to do the very same. In an official media statement, he's quoted as saying, "I am going to commit myself from today that I will aspire to have nothing negative to say about my political opponents. I'm asking opposition leader Harold Lovell and his entire team to join us in a political ceasefire," end quote. He says the priority at this time is to protect lives and livelihoods by getting people inoculated. The media statement, in a show of goodwill, also speaks to the efforts of the political leader of the UPP, Harold Lovell. It acknowledges the social media campaign that Lovell started in support of the vaccine. Lovell is quoted in the statement as saying, "I will take the AstraZeneca vaccine or whichever vaccine is recommended by our medical and public health professionals. It will protect my life, the lives of my family and friends, and most of all, the lives of the people of my wonderful country."
The Barbados Health Minister, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, made an appeal to the public after the mandatory weekend lockdown in the country was lifted. This report from Barbados Today.
The mandatory weekend lockdown has been lifted, but Health and Wellness Minister, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, urged the public not to use it as a passport to venture out on the island's roads. A mandatory stay-at-home order went into effect on Friday, February 19th at 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. this morning. And in a national address last evening, Minister Bostic said, while the last 2 days were useful in helping curb the spread of the virus, the number of positive cases was still not improving as he would like.
Perhaps I should share with you the figures for yesterday alone so that you get an idea of how dangerous and indeed how reckless and irresponsible it is for you to be heading out every day with no urgent business to conduct. On Saturday, February 20th, a total of 756 tests were evaluated by the Best Dos Santos laboratory. From those 756 tests, 57 were returned as positive, 28 males and 29 females. 53 of the 57 carry Barbados ID cards. So after a clear 2 weeks into the period of pause, we still have 57 persons out of 756 tests being determined positive in a single day. That is too high a number. It is too high a positivity rate. It is telling me that we still have a long way to go before we can declare ourselves on top of the COVID crisis in Barbados. I know and understand very well that we cannot keep the population on lockdown forever. I understand that you have to go about your legitimate business. I understand that commerce must recommence. I understand that we need to keep the economy turning even if not churning. But I would like to appeal to you to make each departure from your home a necessary departure, and a departure that is with focus and purpose.
The number of active COVID-19 cases on island now stands at 771. So far, 2,772 confirmed cases have been recorded, comprising 1,272 females and 1,500 males. 1,970 persons have recovered, and there have been 31 deaths from the viral illness. At the same time, Minister Bostic disclosed that his ministry was working to address issues with the transporting of COVID-19 patients, as well as accommodation for persons awaiting test results whose living environment may be crowded.
We are continuously working to reduce the wait time and have augmented the transportation system. There will be more buses pressed into action so that we can improve on the times that people are waiting before collection. I also want to reiterate that after conversations with the Prime Minister this weekend, we have agreed that the government of Barbados is prepared to put persons whose living conditions may be overcrowded into a quarantine hotel while they are waiting for their results. My ministry will therefore work on a program tomorrow morning to put in place arrangements for those persons whose home accommodation does not allow easily for separation and quarantining. We are not going to leave those of you at the mercy of your circumstances by leaving those who may be awaiting test results or transport in crowded homes where the virus can spread to others. The government is adamant that where we need to step in to ensure that you can be kept safe and those around you can equally be kept safe, we are prepared to do that.
We now bring you these international reports.
After 5 months, West Jerusalem's YMCA gym is open again, as Israel emerges further from its latest and potentially last lockdown. But it's a selective reopening. Only those with the so-called green pass on paper or phone app proving full vaccination against or recovery from COVID-19 can come in to work out.
I am so happy to be back here. I love this place, and I've been working out for about an hour and 20 minutes so far, and I feel fantastic.
Not all gyms are reopening. Some cite difficulties in persuading staff to get the vaccine. Some doubt they'll have enough vaccinated customers to make a profit.
We believe that this is best for the community in general and specifically for our members. It has its challenges because it's a load of work that usually we do not have. But I believe that with time things will become easier.
Israel is relying on the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine as its ticket back to normality, with nearly half the population having had at least one jab. Health Ministry figures released on Saturday suggest it's about 99% effective in preventing serious illness and death 2 weeks after the second dose. Younger, more vaccine-reluctant Israelis are being enticed with free snacks and drinks. But some epidemiologists say a highly protected older population may just have to live alongside a less protected younger group where the virus could continue to thrive. For the Prime Minister, whose campaign for next month's election leans heavily on his back-to-life message, the Green Pass is crucial.
You can get your Green Pass and head to the gym and other sporting and cultural events.
His government will soon be running a giant social experiment by distinguishing, some say discriminating, between those who have and have not been vaccinated.
Practically, I think that it's extremely dangerous. You can divide between two populations if there is a good medical reason. So, for example, if someone was exposed to someone infected and he is vaccinated, to tell him you don't need to stay at home, that's okay. That's a medical decision.
It's a balancing act that will be examined closely by other countries with lockdown-weary populations desperate for a taste of their old lives.
Democracy is not infringing on other people and making them ill. So if somebody doesn't want to, so let them stay in their house.
Israel got its vaccination head start in part by volunteering to be a giant lab for the vaccine's effectiveness. From now, it's also running a country-sized test on how to use it. Harry Fawcett, Al Jazeera, West Jerusalem.
brazen gun attack in the Libyan capital Tripoli was well planned, says the country's interior minister. Fatih Bashaga told Reuters that the gunmen were trying to kill him. He escaped the alleged assassination attempt on his motorcade on Sunday and explains what happened.
لما وصلنا لجزيرة جنزور وإذا به في سيارة مصفحة.
When we arrived in Janzur, a bulletproof car approached us, a Toyota, known as a Type 27 in Libya. It had an opening for gunfire. It started approaching the convoy and it started shooting. My guard, who was very well trained, tried to push the car away and protect the minister and move away from the convoy. The chase took place and they continued to fire at us.
One of his guards and one of the attackers were killed in the firefight. Bashaga says his guards arrested 2 people, one of whom was wanted by police. Bashaga represents the internationally recognised Government of National Accord. The shootout comes as it prepares to make way for a new interim government, selected in a UN-led process aimed at unifying Libya's warring factions. The Stabilisation Support Apparatus, an armed force set up by the outgoing Prime Minister, Fayez al-Sarraj, says Bashaga's guards had opened fire on one of its vehicles as it passed his convoy. In his role, Bashaga has pledged to rein in armed groups that have held power on the ground in western Libya since the 2011 uprising.
Niger's President Mohamed Issoufou voted to choose his successor after 2 5-year terms. He could have run for a 3rd term, but is choosing to step down while other leaders in the region desperately cling to power. The election is coming at a difficult time for his nation, a point not lost on the outgoing president.
Niger is facing immense challenges, security challenges, demographic challenges, climate challenges, economic and social development challenges, including the immediate sanitary challenge posed by COVID-19. I'm convinced that to face these challenges, we need strong and stable democratic institutions.
As voting is underway, 7 electoral officials were killed in Tillabéri, a region close to Niger borders with Mali, Benin, and Burkina Faso. Their vehicle was hit by a roadside bomb that also injured 3 others. There had been fears of violence even before the vote, especially in the region that's seen several attacks by armed groups. This is the man the ruling party chose to take over from the incumbent, Mohamed Bazoum, a trusted ally of President Issoufou and former minister of both the Interior and Foreign Ministries.
I have just voted after spending several weeks in the provinces. I visited several villages and had a lot of contact, and I wish for calm during this election, discipline, and that the winner be blessed with good fortune. I wish for good fortune to be on my side, of course, and I have many reasons to believe that it is on my side. I therefore look ahead to the future with serenity and a lot of calm.
His challenger is Niger's former president and prime minister, Maman Ousmane, who is running for the 5th time, seeking to come back to the post he held 25 years ago. Ousmane, who voted in his home region of Zinder, warned against election fraud.
Si jamais les citoyens constatent.
If citizens notice that these elections have once more been fraudulent elections, I fear that the situation will be difficult to manage. Last time people were disciplined. We ourselves contributed to making sure it was calm and serene and tolerated the results of a fraudulent election. But this time, since you asked me my feeling is that the population is no longer ready to tolerate fraudulent elections.
In the first round of parliamentary and presidential elections held on December 27, Mohamed Bazoum secured 39.3% of the vote, while Ousmane got 16.9%. But without a clear majority, it forced a runoff. Ahead of Sunday's election, the 2 candidates went into strategic alliances with Niger's smaller political parties with a view to forming coalitions. Analysts suggest the governing party, whose party won 80 of the 171 seats in parliament, may edge out the opposition, which has only 7 seats. But the candidate of the opposition insists it's the voters that have the final say. The result is expected in a matter of days when the Election Commission declares a winner. 2 weeks after that, the Constitutional Court will validate or reject the results as announced. But for many voters, what's important now is to have a leader who can quickly address the problems of poverty, unemployment, and violence by armed groups. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera.
You were listening to the headline news on WINN FM 98.9. Our top stories were: COVID-19 vaccinations begin today, Monday, February 22nd, at the Newtown Health Center. In the region, Antigua and Barbuda records 3 deaths in a single day. ABS Antigua reports Sunday night, February 21st, in its COVID-19 report. Internationally, Israel starts reopening with implementation of Green Pass as nearly half of population receives jab. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINN FM Headline News. The headline news was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the second half of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of the program. Of course, I'm with the co-host co-host Margret Stevens, and there's somebody with a finger on the trigger. Good afternoon, welcome to Voices. We go straight back to the phone lines.
Yes, greetings. Your Highnesses.
There us. Go right ahead, sir.
Hearing us loud and clear?
Loud and clear. I got a question for you, but go right ahead.
Well, say you have a question for me. Let me take your question before I start talking. I'm going to start talking. You know, say, going to come a time when me have to stop talking.
Well, here's what. Over the weekend, I want to...
The action. The action. Not too much talkers in the world.
There's a question that I think you're qualified...
But for now, we are going to talk. But Marty say, you're lucky we still have time to talk.
There's a question that I think you're qualified...
We live in some serious time. Give thanks to me in the land of the living, you know? And,
come down to planet Earth for this one.
I didn't see him, you know?
You ready for the question?
When we watch it, what it says, vaccine starting in our turf today?
At in the next 20 minutes or so in the Newtown Health Center. In the next 20 minutes at the Newtown Health Center, dentist and section, whatever.
Okay. St Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we don't say who gonna take it.
Mm-hmm.
And who not take it.
Correct.
And these parts of them who will say we not take it. And when we say we not take it, we mean we ready for anything, whatever it is, because of making that decision. You know, if they say, okay, to eat food, you have to take it, we isolate. And we go produce food.
You go off the grid.
If they say you can't go Nevis to take it, we reach Nevis by any means. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
If they say you can't go Angola, we reach. If they say you can't go America, we reach America.
Mm-hmm.
If they say we can't go India and Africa, we reach.
Mm-hmm.
Because what indirect mandatory we be doing, you know, is sending people on the ground, you know, to beat the system. Because whatever the crisis is, you know, we're sorry about the little noise in the background. We are by our area where we have workers on the road. You can hear us clearly, though?
Clearly.
Right. Them indirect mandatory thing, all it is going to do is create more on the ground happenings. Are you with me?
Yes.
I'm with you loud and clear.
Yes. And for we who not take it, and if somebody who in the Pan-African world, the conscious world, and say, okay, we'll go along with it once it come from me, even though the struggle reaches us a point that even people who look like we won't keep on kin will sell us out. You see me? Because the struggle continues, and it is what it is up to the time that we are living in. Mm-hmm. We will reach the point when we get the restoration where we know, say, yes, I did this. Ancient liberty, but we don't reach there yet. So we're on the journey. No. So whatever the crisis is, whatever Babylon want come with, you see me? Because it's two things around earth, you know. Goodness and evilousness. You see me?
I hear you.
And it is ordained that goodness
shall conquer.
Goodness, righteousness shall cover the earth like water cover the seas. Mm-hmm. And it has to be. And whosoever is hindrance to such, whosoever is in the pathway to block such, it will be removed.
We're talking Revelations.
All creation will defend what is right.
We're talking Revelations.
We know that this global pandemic, we are not ruling it out. That is biological warfare. We don't care who talk about what. Family Freeman, and Miss Henry. We don't care what you said about, and you and others saying about theory. We are dealing with touchable reality. We are in war. We are at war. And we are not the warriors, you know. Why? Because we are Earth's rightful owners. We are the original people. Everybody else is renting. But in spite of that, we are the lovers of the earth. We are the original gods and goddesses of love.
I am one of...
All, as I said before, all of creation going to defend me. Marcus Garvey said it, you know.
Yes.
His Syrian Highness Marcus Messiah Garvey said it, you know. Look for me in the whirlwind, the storm, earthquake, thunder, lightning, brimstone, lava. All of earth, all of the vibrations on the earth going to defend this truth. This truth. Naya Bingi. Give thanks to the time. Maybe ask me a question. Let me see if I can answer.
No. You haven't given me a mouthful already. That question,
okay.
Right?
Give thanks to the time.
Here's what. Keep
the energy positive. Keep the energy positive.
Here's what. Just listen, right?
Keep the energy
A
positive.
dear friend of our my co-host said to pose the question, what is Rastafarianism? And if I ask you that, you can take up the whole program.
Okay, you already did, you know. Don't be diplomatic with me, you know. You already asked the question.
But you know I love you, right?
Well, I must correct you first and foremost.
Yes.
There's no such thing as Rastafarianism.
Okay, go ahead.
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Okay.
Yes. There's no ism in this liberty.
Mm-hmm.
It is the liberty that all of Earth inhabitants ought to be living. Especially my race.
Okay.
Because as we said before, we are the original people.
Okay.
And saying that, I'm going to say this, that every smarty of my race at Rastafari, some have gathered forward the consciousness and some haven't, but we are the children of Rastafari. Because Rastafari is all about black, Ethiopic supremacy. It's about ancient liberty. It's not no religious thing, you know. Like the way them put on Christendom upon me, you know.
So it's not a religion.
This is a way of life. Way of life. That all of us ought to be living because we are Rastafari. We have a poem go like this in a Black History Month. Hey, Black History Month done yet?
No.
Not yet.
No, okay. Let me do a short, quick one.
Short, quick one.
It's not nice, but it's the truth. Black as charcoal, ebony, midnight, or tar, brown as gold, or chocolate bar, still not shining as a bright star. Oh, the reason is near, not far. You don't know who you are.
And that would have been a technical glitch. We would have lost that caller, but of sound words from last Eli X.
Yes.
Was the first caller in the second half. We want to welcome the folks back to the areas of WINN FM, our viewers, and it's been a wonderful morning. I want to say, before we go too far, good day to Peter Ngunjui. He is a photojournalist over there, affiliated with the SKNDB, St Kitts and Nevis Development Bank, and he would have sent us some information that relates to a developing story in Tanzania. Do you have it over there?
No, I don't, but go ahead. I have the gist of it, yeah. The gist of it? Go ahead. So basically what they're saying is that they had two high-ranking officials pass away on Wednesday. One, they did not say how he died, what the cause of death was, but one of them died of COVID. Mm-hmm. So what they're now saying to the population is you now have to adhere to the COVID protocols by wearing masks, social distancing, and hand sanitizing and hand washing.
But prior to that, there were no efforts at enforcement?
No, there were no efforts to enforce it.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Peter. You do pay attention and you make a contribution, so we thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and they're also telling everybody, if you have symptoms, make your way to the relevant health centres or whatever to get checked out and to follow the guidelines, which I found interesting, to follow the guidelines of, oh gosh, I lost it.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. Oh, yeah. The Council of Traditional Healers.
The Council of Traditional Healers.
Traditional Healers, yeah.
Okay.
So making sure that they stay well hydrated, that they have adequate nutrition, and hopefully that will alleviate some of the symptoms.
They stay hydrated, adequate nutrition.
So that's what we've been saying all along.
Mm-hmm.
Stay hydrated, in particular drinking warm fluids, and have adequate nutrition. When you have adequate nutrition, you're taking in all the vitamins and minerals that support your immune system. Yeah.
So they are no instruction that you must sanitize and distance.
Yes, they are
that's
saying
all part of it.
Yeah, so they're saying now everybody must be wearing masks in Tanzania, whereas before they weren't.
Okay, I want to thank Peter for that.
And it's a beautiful article, yeah.
There was a global conformity to these standards already.
No, I think they had closed their borders, but because there was they assumed that there was nothing on the ground, they didn't conform to.
So hitherto this information, I'm not sure if there were any numbers on the ground that triggered.
No, according to this, they've never reported any cases of COVID-19, but now they are going to start reporting their data as to numbers affected and numbers of deaths.
Chris Collins, you're up there in Sheffield. The last time we spoke, you were under the quarantine shutdown for, I think it was a matter of weeks.
Yes.
Give us a response, if you can, as to what's happening in that regard. We know that the numbers in the U.S., they're approaching 500,000. And they are still happy or hopeful that the indicators are you're having less hospitalization, and a lot of credit is being given out to people who have been more compliant, the vaccination availability, the role of the etc. So very shortly here in St Kitts and Nevis, we will be in that shortly. We're looking about 12 minutes before the official rollout of the vaccination protocols here in St Kitts and Nevis. So let's see how that plays out. And for the folks, the frontline workers, who will be the first among those in terms of priority, will be given the vaccine. The question from Sister Henry is, would the people trust, based on the word of our officials, based on what they say we should do we have that element of trust that we're okay, yes, they would have said it, we trust them, just say where we went. And we entertain this call online. Call you live on Voices.
Yes, good afternoon again.
Just
it's me.
Sister Henry.
I listened to the news item about the vaccination in Israel.
Yes.
Did you hear the article?
No, I didn't, but go ahead.
Israel is thinking about
opening up their borders.
They call it social. What they're saying, they may have to institute regulations that separate those who got the vaccine from those who do not.
Oh.
Interesting.
That those who refuse to take, they don't want them mixing with people who are trying to protect themselves.
Interesting.
The one with Antigua things sound strange. They said that the person did not die from corona. They had 2 deaths, I think, over the weekend.
Yes. Well, for those who don't know, enlighten us, please. For those who don't know what you're
talking about. They said that they had comorbidity.
Yeah, so they had pre-existing conditions as well as COVID-19. So
well, they said no. I think what really happened, maybe they weren't showing any. What they're doing now is once you die, they're testing the cops,
After, yeah.
This is what is happening now. So you may go in and not show any
you may
signs.
You may be asymptomatic.
Right. So that they're now testing people who die.
Okay.
And so while you may not have been charged or whatever as being positive, classified as being positive, so that is causing some interest, because you will say, well, I didn't even know that the person had it.
Exactly, because one of the things that they've been saying all along is that there are people walking around that are asymptomatic. That's been the problem in the US, that people that haven't had any symptoms are still walking around, going about their daily whatever.
Nothing happened.
And
the
are
one you heard
spreading
about
it.
Tanzania. I heard the item this morning.
Okay.
On Al Jazeera.
Okay.
They're talking about, they were saying they didn't have any, and people were allowed to go about their merry way.
Yes, but now
and this is it, Sometimes we for our own good, nobody's going to appreciate every rule, every law.
No.
It's not human. It's not human to do so. But sometimes, as I said, we have to go beyond ourselves, We have to go beyond ourselves so that you put on the mask not for yourself, but for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that is where we got to reach. All right, then.
Okay, I don't
Let me send a message to my Rasta family. Eli X is a free man,
Yes, I know that.
So as a free, you see what the free mans can do. Eli X. While they don't got Rastafarianism, Haile Selassie was a Christian, and you must get over it. You believe in the same Jesus like me. You also the Bible come from Africa. Well, if Africa, the Bible starts, and everything starts there, you should embrace Christianity. Just give you a black face. And so I'm saying to all of you, there's no other way, we don't want to hear it. And the lady there you guys talk about, and Carla, no, it was Carla, talking about the different kind of the religion that they had in Africa. Most of them were animists. You know that? They were seeking, as the Bible says, they were seeking after God.
Mm-hmm.
They were seeking after the true God. And for all those who think that Obia is a game and Obia is bush tea, ask the Haitians. They combine Christianity with voodoo, and you get the most powerful thing. It's nothing to be played with. There are two forces in this world,
Yes.
He said good and bad,
Mm-hmm.
God and the devil.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And whether you believe it or not does not change a thing.
Exactly.
All right, then.
Okay.
Thank you, Sister. We hear from Chris up in Sheffield. He sent me a text. Boris is pushing for release of the lockdown, but the fear is that it might lead to another serious lockdown. England could be free of most restrictions by June 21st in Boris Johnson's plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I don't know if I would take him serious. I don't know if I would take him serious.
I think they've seen some decrease in the hospitalisation, and for me that proves that the lockdown is working for the most part. I think they just need to be consistent. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to Voices. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the co-host.
Well, thanks for answering.
Hi.
Waiting on you all morning.
Socrates.
Yes, sir.
Let me say good afternoon to all the listeners.
Yeah.
Did I hear your morning session, right?
You didn't hear it? Sorry about that.
No. So me come in when the news no program.
We did reach out for you, to you, and Sister Henry, she just sent you greetings. As she sent you earlier.
Greetings back.
Okay.
Socrates.
Sir.
Let me plan one little to do some studies with Mr. Bacchus, but recognize that he disappeared.
As you know.
So far, this is going to be the only show that may really take part until Mr. Bacchus come back, really.
I hear you.
Let me give one little quick study when we want to do it. But we just got the word of mouth. Would you accept that?
Yes, of course.
Mr. Bacchus need to really go into the scriptures that people can see that they can miss it. But I'm not going to do that today. So I'm going to give a little quick word of mouth. Can I?
Certainly, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Everybody will understand. You all are going to understand. The creator that makes man, right? He say anything that you put before you, that is yours, God.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a graven image.
Yes.
Right? Work with me. And we got 24 hours Monday. Would you agree with me?
24 hours what?
24 hours, not one day.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And we're going to eliminate 12. And we're going to use 12 for sleep. So we got 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You still with me?
I'm with you.
Right. Out to the 12 hours, how much that the world gives to COVID and how much that the world gives to God?
Right now, it seems like...
Yeah.
You with me?
I'm with you. Go ahead.
Right. And I will see that if God gets 1 hour, he gets plenty. So automatically, without something that you don't even conscious of, COVID become plenty people in this world, God.
The focus.
The focus. You understand that?
The primary focus.
That's exactly what the devil wants. Because remember, here come, here come as on counterfeit, that take over.
So this is
and
distraction.
Believe that here go be the God. And me here, Cousin Henry, I beg people to wear their masks and so forth and so. Cousin Henry, the Bible says, hear what the Bible says. If you love your life, you're going to lose it. And if you give your life for who? My sake. Not just give your life just like that. You will find it. That means you have to accept.
This is deep.
You get that?
This is deep.
and while it look like one. Okay, let me just do one more little quick thing. Remember, the Antichrist is going to come as one counterfeit. Tell me something, Socrates. Which look glittering? The pure gold or the fake gold? Which one look more hypnotizing?
The fake. Because you have to embellish it. You have to embellish it to make it look appealing.
Exactly. So, I know everything that look glittering. You see, by good to know the word of God. I know everything that look glittering. And when the devil put words that people know there.
Mm-hmm.
You catch me, the devil whisper. And you hear Cousin Henry say two evil. You hear she just said that just now, right? Two, there is good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
And she just said that just now?
Yes.
Yeah, but who she work for? Because, you see, when the Creator and the devil not bargain, and you have to check the book of Job to see exactly, they're not bargaining, And then look down and just like how them bargain over Job, I just so today them are bargain over. So when I have that the Antichrist logo, the Antichrist will laugh and God, wait, that many people, what's here? But look at my rules there, fella. You got that Socrates, me gone. They'll come back.
And thank you for that. Interesting analysis. We're gonna pause. We're gonna give credit to our sponsors at the top of the hour. So we will pause for a word from our sponsors and get back into the speed. Okay? Thank you very much.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Horseroads Building and Nevis Centers are making lawn and garden easy. Come to Horseroads Building and Nevis Center now and get 25% off store-wide on our entire lawn and garden department. Yes! For the months of February and March, Horseroads Building Center and Nevis Center is making improving your lawn and garden easy with 25% off all garden supplies, garden equipment, garden accessories, including weed eaters, lawnmowers, and much more. Get 25% off all lawn and garden items happening now at Horseroads Building Center in St Kitts and Nevis. Horseroads Building and Nevis Centers, making home improvement easy. Get ready
ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Brenda O'Neill, if you get a chance to weigh in. Ross Eli X, you just had a fan who said that she will join you in the bush if it comes home to having to choose whether to conform. Because I'm seeing this, we already hear no test, no travel. It will come, no vaccination, no travel. And it ties into all your data, all your biographicals. You know, your medical information, it will all tie in. So you won't be able to go and access medical thing unless you will be compliant or...
And I mean, I recognize...
Because you speak out, you heard about the databases now being created here.
Yes.
It will be linked to WHO and all the other organizations.
And I recognize it's not the first time this has been done, that you've had to... But when you travel to countries that you know have malaria and stuff, you have to have certain vaccinations, and if you don't, you can't travel.
Understood.
But on a worldwide scale?
It's going to be. Because we're interlinked by the internet. You know every single thing. We spoke about the lady who invented the GPS. Just about everything we do is monitored.
Yes.
Whether in the UK,
oh, yes.
as they claim is the most monitored.
Yes. So you cannot, as they said, you cannot walk 50 feet without being touched by at least half a dozen cameras.
I see it.
Yes.
And some circumspect. Yes. Because I know.
Yeah, we do have a lot of cameras everywhere. Right. So, you know, there's ATM cameras, shop cameras, cameras on every lamppost, cameras at pedestrian crossings and...
In the malls?
Yeah, all over.
So if you were to say, and then your phone is a tracking mechanism.
Yes.
So it's there already.
Because of the GPS in it.
We know of people who in the US and the UK who would have put in a chip in the animals in case they got lost.
Yes.
And we've got a caller online.
Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to Voices.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, good afternoon to you and also Socrates.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, this is Boris, but not Johnson, though.
Yes, Boris, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, Taco, you know, you listen to different talk shows, and even in everyday conversation, you know, you're hearing people say, we this small island, this is how we should go. We shouldn't be letting the bigger island dictate for us and those kind of stuff. Which, you know, we can't do nothing. When they decide this is how we're going to live, you just got to fall in line because the amount of things that they can do to you, you know, so you just got to adapt to what they say. And then the next thing, too, you hear people talking about, you need to eat local stuff and you need to eat this and you need to eat that. Which restaurant can you go into every day, Socrates, and the lady there with you, every day and get some mashed green pig or even just boiled green pig, breadfruit, yam, dasheen, the things that we go here that we could do ourselves. We can go them ourselves and we produce them ourselves.
I can think of a couple.
Restaurant can you go in every day and get a meal from those type of food?
But we trend towards that.
Huh?
I can think of a couple.
Yeah, but you trend. That's supposed to be trending. Since you're telling us that is how we should do, how we should go. This is what should be happening.
It should be. It should be part of
everyday
everyday
you can go in a
life.
restaurant and get pasta and pizza and all these kind of stuff. Other stuff that wheat and rice and flour. You know, every day you can go into a restaurant and get those things.
Yeah.
The same thing that we're telling you. Okay, leave this stuff and eat the local thing. But you're not when you go in, you can't see local stuff, anything, because the people are not the same local people were telling you don't eat them. They're not eating them.
Yeah.
So the people have to keep importing the same things they're telling you don't eat.
You have more people marketing. They spend more on marketing these brands.
Yes.
And they make them available.
Yes.
To you. So when you go, you have available choices. Except you're gonna go back to your backyard.
Yeah. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more international foods available than local foods, and the international food and the food that we're trying to tell you not to eat come at a cheaper price.
Yes. And we know that. We know that there is a lot more food from that coming in here that is more available to us. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like you're telling me then, okay, cigarette ain't good for you, but on the label of the cigarette it's telling you cigarette is not good for you, but they're still selling it to you.
Yeah. But alcohol isn't good for you, and we still sell it.
So then, since we know as the consumers and the people eating this thing, we know that the local thing and that thing, even though they might bring in the outside stuff, the international stuff, if we eat less of it or none of it, and deal more with what we produce here, the breadfruit, you can go anywhere in any area and pick a breadfruit off a tree. So practically nothing.
Yeah.
So why aren't we using most of that? The salad that they make from the potato. It's better if you could do it from the breadfruit too, and it tastes better.
Yes.
You could make flour, because I see one time the agriculture department, they had the thing there. People had flour from breadfruit. You have the sweet potato. It tastes better than the potato we refer to as Irish potato and them.
Yeah, it's healthier, as a matter of fact.
Yes. Right. But people, we are not, because we are not using them. The importers are forced to bring in more and more of the outside things.
Well, I think it's down to the consumers, because if we speak about a certain demographic or certain race of people who have come here and are setting up and taking over mom and pops, but we're the ones who give them that economic support.
We give them the economic support, and I think I think consumers aren't aware of how much power they actually have. If we decided today, nobody is going to walk through the doors of Rams. We're all going to support everybody else, but we're not going to walk through the doors.
Rams is a sponsor, Well, say a certain establishment.
A certain establishment.
And we apologize for that. So, we're not going to do that to Rams.
then they go bankrupt. We have a lot of power as consumers, and it is up to the consumer to make informed choices.
Yeah, but at the same time, so the same consumer who are the mothers and the fathers, are the parents, let me put it that way. If you don't give your kids these types of food
at home,
from young, and you give them giving the pizza and the pasta and all this stuff, they're not going to think.
Boris, that comes down to the mass marketing.
Yes.
Most of our viewing is from the US. Europe to a small extent, but we watch all those ads, and there's a science to the marketing.
Yes.
And so they just tell you about it. When you go to the supermarket, it's right there.
Yes.
When they tell about the world is dying of hunger, blah, blah, look at all the vast acreage they give to golf courses.
Exactly.
And all that. Yeah. So don't buy that. Look at the amount of land we have in St. Kitts. But of course, it makes more sense for us to import, because the governments make more money on import duty than from the small farmers. So there's method to the madness. But it's for you, the individual person, or the consumer, to decide, okay, I'm not going to buy from this person or that person. I'm going to buy local product and support that. But you have to be that national consciousness to take it forward. Until that, they're going to find whether we say this and we do that. It's going to continue.
I mean,
so then the parents firstly got to start by feeding their kids with the local.
The parents feed their children a lot of sweet in the school bags the morning time. The drinks, the this and that and that.
It's also, I think everybody has a...
Lemonade. They don't give you people. You don't hear people talking about drinking lemonade. You can go find an orange tree and pick out.
Back in the days, it was swank.
But
we have more choices.
Right.
But because there are choices now, and I think it's about education, I think that, traditional foods have been given a bad rap. And then when we see, then we see an increase in popularity when a celebrity says, "Oh, I only eat this." Like when Usain Bolt won the Olympics, everybody was going back to yam and sweet potato because he said that's what he lives on. Then that sort of lost the trend, and everybody went back to KFC.
And we heard that they were doing all kind of tests to see if there's steroids and
breadfruit.
all kind of stuff in it.
They did.
Yeah.
And
I mean, recently,
because they know that the steroids or whatever they're looking for is not in it.
Exactly.
But to give it a bad
to
rap.
discredit it, yes. But
to give it a bad rap.
The popularity of soursop in Europe has increased tenfold because there's a lot of research now showing what we already knew was that it has a lot of medicinal properties.
Anyway, I'll go off and continue listening.
I need you to come on the program sometime and discuss your library of local songs and why you support local songs. So at some point we need to have a discussion. Thank you for your contribution. Where was I now? There was a point I was trying, but Boris called. And anyway,
Boris has a lot of good points, but I think that there are a lot of stakeholders. When it comes to nutrition.
Or Amber.
Yes.
Amber saying you need to wave because she's watching down in Anguilla, and yes, we do.
I did wave.
Our folks to actually tune in daily and keep us abreast of what's happening. So give us a call or give us an update of what's happening with the rollout of COVID-19 in Anguilla. I know some folks would have taken it. Any negative feedback and reports? Because we would have, for the past 12 minutes, rolled out ours here in St Kitts and Nevis. And of course, the debate continues because it's a fundamental, it's going to represent a fundamental shift in what's been happening to us for the past 11 plus months in terms of COVID-19. And so now we become globally compliant and all that. So Kittitians, divisions, roll up your sleeve and take the damn thing. Call the 11 Voices. Welcome to the program.
Socrates.
Sir.
Yeah, let me want to talk you up from last week with the caller that me calling after me. That may talk about here Kittitian and African and slavery done.
Oh yes. But we got more time today. We got more time today. Got about 60 minutes before the end of the program. Go ahead.
Yeah, but me agree. No, me not go touch you. Me just tell you that me agree with the caller.
Go ahead.
Me agree with the caller. Why me should take up? Me got enough burden for myself. And why me should go take up one other burden with people that even done there that me don't even know?
Make your point.
You get that?
I'm hearing you.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, no, that's how me really actually call me just make call for say that. The last caller we talk about nutrition and so. Me not believe there is no place on earth that push eating healthy and nutrition and so like Montserrat.
Really?
Well, let me tell you something. People not listen to them someday. When people go to the supermarket and pick up what they want. Socrates, me do farming. And me try. Me use the fertilizer now and again, but if possible, I mean not to use one, me not use one. So me try my best to bring this stuff to them as natural as possible.
Correct.
So guess what? See, I like the planting and then they wouldn't come so big and fat. Like when you try the fertilizer, they don't root. You get me?
Yeah.
Socrates, when you carry them to supermarkets and so,
yes,
they ask you, why they so small? The customers then are going to buy them. You get onions and so, and you know, then little small onion, and got flavor can done. But I know when people go there shop at them big fat onion, look, you see chemical mark all over them.
Yeah,
and then they're pick up. You get what I'm saying? So you, and let me tell you, the children, look, even parents today, even me and all guilty of this. Peeling food take a lot of time.
That's true.
Depends
on what I don't peel them, you know.
And it bubble over, you just some noodles in there and bam, you hit your meal and you're gone again.
Depends on what I don't peel them. I don't peel potatoes and pumpkin and stuff like that.
Me agree that you may say Socrates. But let me tell you something. See, they want hustle in the world. And macaroni and cheese and quick stuff. Soon as the water boils, boom, 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 you try and mix up and bam, you go your meal and then
not
you
healthy.
Gone again. You get the point of me, mate?
Yes, it was not healthy.
No. You know, healthy, we know that there. But the point about it, you stop there now with healthiness. You know the amount of time now that you waste. That our people actually think. So that's why now you find out noodles. Noodles are one of the biggest selling.
Yeah.
On the entire market.
Yeah.
Right around the world.
Mm-hmm. And have
even
no
right here,
value.
in a little monster, where we talk about healthiness. Every day you hear about eating healthy. But you can't tell people what to do. So that's the whole point about it. Okay then.
Got you covered. Appreciate that.
But what I want to say to the gentleman is that, you know, you can use fertilizers for your farming. There are lots and lots of natural fertilizers that you can use. It doesn't have to be chemical based.
We use the animal, waste for fertilizer.
Exactly. That there are seaweeds that you can use as fertilizers. There are, even like if you're banana peels, putting those banana peels, soaking the banana peels and pouring that water around your plants is a fertilizer. So, there are lots of natural fertilizers that can compete, that make your produce look even more healthy than what's in the supermarkets.
Jamster is saying, great show. I was about to send you the GPS story literally 5 minutes before you mentioned it. Hey, still send it. And he's got another great story to send, so we'll see what happens. We love when we have the contributions from many of our listeners and viewers, so thank you, Jamster. And Brenda up there in Charlottesville, they all have a thing to say. She's involved in travel, and she's the one planning to go to Ghana.
Okay.
And, trying to get my booking and flight, so, We got about 10 minutes down before we close the play. We should pause for a word from our sponsors, since we have no call on the lines, and then get back with the program. Great so far. Mr. Engineer, thank you very much.
Found the sound 98.9 WINN FM.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Power up in February at Horsford's Value Mart IGA. Yeah, in February we are giving you 3 ways to power up. 1. Power up for your Value Club points in February. Yes, for the first time ever, every Value Club customer will earn double points on all Value Club purchases at Value Mart in St Kitts and Nevis. 2. Power up in our Power Play, where lucky customers will win their purchase free. Just listen out for the Power Play alert, and if you are at the Mystery Power Register of the day, you win your purchase absolutely free with double points and more. 3. Power up your saving with the Horsford's Value Mart Red Tag Value Deal. Yes, power up with the savings with huge discount on select Value Deals items. Power up your points. Power up your saving. Win your purchase free in our Power Play. Power up February at Horsford's Value Mart IGA. Don't miss it.
Terms and conditions apply.
You better.
Before you start, you have welcome to the club, like your African outfit. Blessings, stay safe. That have to be referring to you. See you being viewed around the globe. Anyway, that came from Chris Collins, I think.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Definitely. And we're yet to hear from Mauritia and New York Joe. We haven't heard from them for a while. But for those who call in, we do appreciate your contributions. Anyway, take it away. I'm going to say mom if I can for the rest of it. No?
No.
Don't say mom?
No, don't say mom.
Okay, because what's her name? Your friend in Nevis?
Ella.
Ella. She
My
thinks we make
sister.
your sister. Okay, we take this one from the caller. Call your 11 voices.
Hi, the King. I'm back.
Yes, Africa, you're back. How are you doing?
Yes, I just want to put in a little plug there. Earlier in the conversation, I think someone mentioned about a flight from the Caribbean, specifically Jamaica to
Ghana.
Ghana.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's too. Yes, it's going to go to Ghana, but actually from Jamaica to Nigeria, then on into Ghana. Albeit you're on the west coast, so you can make your way around.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just from the response that you read and WhatsApp maybe from someone who said they're going to Ghana. I came across a clip on YouTube that because of there's different DNA tests that have been done,
Mm-hmm.
but they have this one that specifically
Africa ancestry.
bring you down to your actual ethnic
grouping.
Yeah.
On the West Coast, yes.
Yeah.
That one is being spearheaded by a lady and a gentleman, a biologist, and another lady that has started it, that really bring you down to this specific ethnic group as a part from the broad base that it is just saying that, okay, you are, along with other percentages that may not be of African origin, yes, but you are specifically African.
Yeah.
And then, but this one breaks it down to this specific ethnic group.
Yeah.
And I was interested in some persons that went back to Sierra Leone. I think it's a group of 22. And they were automatically given their
Citizenship.
to that country.
Yes.
That is the way to go. Because, I mean, your DNA would not lie.
No.
And we have already citizenship, we have heard about dual citizenship and the like. Now, no one is saying, and I'm not purporting to say pack up and forget St Kitts and Nevis or wherever your domicile might be. But at the same time, you cannot forget where you came from either, in spite of the whatever number you're going to put on it. 400 years, 1,000 years,
Yeah.
what have you. There is a spiritual and otherwise umbilical cord that cannot be severed.
Mm-hmm.
I use the word umbilical cord. Yes, we know all the medical procedures that we were severed from our mothers.
Mm-hmm.
But that connection is tied into that DNA. So those are things that testimony to. No one is saying that the exodus is going to happen in mass waves of 15, 20 million people that's going to pack up. But it's going to continue gradually. Because I'm going to say something now in which I'm going to go into in other programs. I always had a cultural perspective of certain things. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to get in a program. And you know what I'm going to call that program?
Go ahead.
Because of so many recognition, I'm going to call it World Books Day.
Okay.
But I'm going to specifically dwell on a particular book, which is so, has so much connection to us that we doesn't see ourselves with, which is the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to delve into it because there are some things that we need to know. Before Jesus or any Messiah or whatever name you want to call him by, we, a lot of us, don't know the percentage, have to be back. And when we bring our offerings, as poor as we are, we're going to have offerings to offer because the book says it. So in spite of our poverty-strickenness, we're going to have enough offerings to offer. Have you ever heard of Mansa Musa? That crippled
Yes, we have.
economies that he went along to pilgrimage? We're going to able to have offer. When the Queen of Sheba visited Solomon on the continent of Africa, she came with offerings of different kinds. So therefore, the offerings that persons are exploiting, which is ours, by our birthright, it's not going to be forever. We will have enough offerings to offer to the Most High. Thanks for listening.
No problem.
Much appreciated. As we look at the clock, we got about 3-4 minutes before we wrap up to this program. Any thoughts on a response for that? I stepped out.
Remember, I spoke to you about it, Ancestry.com, where they look at the genome and trace it back to specific tribes. And they can even tell you what percentage. So the ones I'd watched, a couple of them had 98% connection with this particular tribe.
I'm anxious to find out about me. What do you think? What tribe do you think you from?
Me, I don't know. I have a friend who I went to university with, and I coordinated her wedding, and her father said I was from Ghana. He said, she's one of our people.
Ghana?
Yes.
I had a picture taken of me down by the cenotaph some time ago in my African top, and somebody says, "Oh, you put the man in Mandingo."
Okay, there you go.
Hey, I want to say it.
You're just repeating what somebody said to you.
Yeah, I'm like Donald Trump. Well, they say it. I was putting the man back in Mandingo, but
like I was telling you as well, there are a couple of siblings I know. And they look like Zulu warriors.
Yes.
That beautiful, dark skin. Past chocolate, it's just beautiful. Dark skin, white teeth. And the height that they have. Yeah.
The posture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The way they carry themselves, very upright and very regal.
I think I mentioned we've met people with 12 fingers.
Yes.
And that was traced back to a tribe, well, a royal family. There was a tribe, they were kings, and they always had 12 fingers. The shape of certain women, the Deria that came from a certain tribe. We have the Pygmies. We have, so a lot of us, I wouldn't go back to the indoctrination, but we were made to believe that anything African didn't have any semblance of civilization or whatever. So we have to go back and to trace a root. So I want to be on that program where they can tell me, yes, you are Mandingo.
Okay.
Or Zulu.
Yes.
And all that.
Yeah.
My grandfather, well, paternal grandfather, well, my mother's side, was tall. Mr. Joseph from Sinclair Joseph from Antigua. Okay. Samuel Joseph from Antigua, tall. So I would have got my height from him. My mother was tall also. My father was a little pygmy. That was okay. We got about 45 seconds before we wrap up. I'm going to leave that to the fair lady. It's all yours. Take us out.
So I want to thank everybody for listening today. We've had a wonderful show, and I hope that people, do their research and make their minds up as to whether or not they're going to take the vaccine. But the vaccine is being rolled out, has already been rolled out today. It started at 1 o'clock down at Newtown Health Centre. So if you qualify, get yourself along there.
I guess they're creating a database.
Yes.
To be able to. So they're prioritizing on whom should get first. I think the parliamentarians will be leading by example, and then they'll say, okay, maybe health workers, frontline workers, etc., etc. So it makes sense to you, do that. We're not going to give you any instructions or one way or the other, but I think from where we would have come from, for where you're looking to go, in terms of getting economy up and running again, that may be one of the main considerations. Of course, health first, because
yes,
don't want to leave yourself exposed to what could be and what might be a negative thing. So yes. And so to Ella,
sweetheart, you need to come and join us, and we will discuss your topic. And I think it's going to open up a lot of minds, and I know that you have a lot of information. So give me a call.
And on that note, we say, pop, 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 pop. I didn't hear you. Mr. Engineer, we want to wish you peace, love, and much better tomorrow. And we see you or hear from you next Monday, God's willing.
Have
Thanks
a
for all the
wonderful
callers
day.
and contributors. We good.